Have you ever been on a plane when the quiet suddenly becomes terrifying? When the sound of the engines, the heartbeat of the sky, just stops? Imagine being trapped 30,000 feet above the earth with no pilot, no communication, and no hope until an 11-year-old girl steps forward. This is the true style story of courage, instinct, and the unshakable power of a child who refused to be afraid. Stay till the end, because what this little girl did will leave you in awe. And before we dive into it, you're watching Grow for Justice, where real stories meet real courage. Don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. The flight from Los Angeles to Honolulu was routine. A calm, cloudless sky stretched endlessly, the Pacific shimmering beneath. Inside the aircraft, 172 passengers relaxed, some dozing, others reading, a few laughing softly over the hum of the engines. Among them was 11-year-old Maya Carter, traveling with her mother for the first time outside the mainland. Maya was bright, curious, the kind of child who asked too many questions but always listened carefully to the answers. Her father had been a flight instructor before he passed away 2 years earlier. Though Maya was just a kid, he taught her everything he could: how to recognize the sound of a stable engine, how to read altitude on a panel, even how the yoke responded when you gently pulled back. They used to play flight simulator games together every weekend. It was their bond, their shared world above the clouds. As the plane reached 30,000 feet, the captain announced they'd be cruising smoothly for the next few hours. The passengers settled in. The seatbelt sign blinked off. Maya leaned against the window, watching the sky glow orange as the sun dipped lower. Everything was perfect until the sound change at IT was subtle at first. A hiccup in the hum, a brief sputter. Then silence. Real, awful silence. The kind that makes every head lift in unison. The lights flickered. Trays rattled. The plane dipped slightly, then steadied, but the calm was gone a few seconds later. A voice crackled through the intercom, strained, panicked. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated and fasten your seatbelts. We are experiencing a technical issue." But before he could finish, a violent jolt threw drinks into the air. Gasps erupted. The plane shook again, harder. Oxygen masks dropped. Someone screamed. Inside the cockpit, both pilots were fighting to restart the engines after a sudden dual system failure. Something so rare it bordered on impossible. But then tragedy struck. The captain clutched his chest and collapsed forward, unresponsive. The co-pilot, struggling to keep control, radioed a distress call, his voice cutting through static. "Mayday, mayday, this is Flight 732. Captain down. Engine failure." Then even that voice faded. In the cabin, chaos spread. People prayed, cried, shouted. Maya's mother gripped her daughter's hand tightly, whispering, "It's going to be okay," though her voice trembled. But Maya wasn't crying. She was thinking, listening. The silence wasn't total. She could still hear faint wind resistance outside. The plane was gliding, not falling. Her father's lessons came rushing back. She unbuckled. Her mother tried to stop her. "Maya, sit down. I have to see," Maya said, her small voice steady. "I can help." No one took her seriously, not at first. A flight attendant tried to block her way, but panic had spread to the crew too. "The pilots, both," she stammered, unable to finish the sentence. The words told Maya everything. She stepped into the cockpit. The co-pilot was barely conscious, bleeding from a head injury. The controls were alive with flashing red lights. Alarm screamed. Maya froze, her father's voice echoing in her head. The plane listens to calm hands, not shaking ones. She took a deep breath, climbed into the left seat, and grabbed the headset. "Control, this is Flight 732, she said, her small voice trembling. "The pilots are down. Please someone help me." The tower operator couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Who is this?" "My name is Maya. I'm 11 years old. My dad taught me how to fly small planes." I can try. For a moment, there was only stunned silence on the frequency. Then the voice came back, calm and firm. Okay, Maya, we're here with you. You're not alone. Listen to me carefully. Do exactly as I say. Below her, the Pacific stretched forever, blue and merciless. The plane was losing altitude, slowly but steadily. Every second mattered. She steadied her breathing, hands gripping the yoke. Ease the nose up 2 degrees, the voice instructed. She did. The plane responded, sluggish but alive. A small cheer erupted in the control tower. The gliding angle stabilized. Good job, Maya. You got control. Meanwhile, in the cabin, passengers began to feel the plane level out. Whispers replaced screams. Someone asked, "Who's flying?" The flight attendant, pale but determined, replied, "A child, the little girl from seat 24A." Gasps followed. Some prayed louder. Others simply stared in disbelief. Maya followed every instruction, adjusting throttle levers, stabilizers, flaps. Sweat dripped down her face, but her focus was absolute. The tower directed her toward an emergency landing strip on a small island in the Pacific. "You're doing great," they reassured. "Just keep her steady, okay? You're saving a lot of people right now." "Copy that," she whispered, her father's favorite phrase. As the minutes passed, she felt the weight of the aircraft, the resistance, the vibration through the yoke. It wasn't a video game anymore. This was real. Every soul on board depended on her. She thought of her father's smile, his calm voice during those Sunday lessons. When fear knocks, you fly through it. She reached the approach zone. The runway looked impossibly small. The controller guided her step by step. Lower landing gear, flaps down, reduce throttle. Maya's hands moved confidently. The wind screamed against the fuselage. The passengers braced. The ground raced closer. For a moment, everything slowed. The heartbeat, the sound, the world itself. Then the wheels hit the tarmac with a bone-shaking thud. The plane bounced once, twice, then skidded to a stop. Silence again, but this time it was the kind of silence that comes before applause. And then it came, cheers, cries, clapping. The cabin erupted. Maya's mother ran forward, tears pouring down her face. She pulled her daughter in her arms, whispering, "You did it. Baby, you really did it." Emergency crews rushed the runway, surrounding the aircraft. The co-pilot survived. The passengers were safe. And at the center of it all was an 11-year-old girl, her hands still trembling on the controls. Within hours, the world knew her name. News channels called her the miracle pilot. Reporters flooded the island. But when someone asked her how she did it, Maya just said softly, "My dad taught me to never be afraid of the sky." Weeks later, the Air Force invited her to visit their simulator training center. She met real pilots, men and women decades older, who saluted her as one of their own. Her courage became a story told in classrooms, in aviation schools, and in every heart that needed to believe in something greater. Because bravery doesn't come with age, it comes with choice. And that day, Maya chose to act when everyone else froze. The next time you hear silence on a plane, remember Maya, the 11-year-old who refused to give up, who heard her father's lessons in her heart and saved hundreds of lives that you've been watching grow for justice, where stories of courage come to life. If this one moved you, subscribe right now and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Because heroes can come from anywhere.